the Native Americans, they got restored. They do have land. They have a land of bureau and management for their people. And, she's talking about all of these atrocities going on in her community. But I'm like, who's causing these atrocities? Is it people in your community doing this, or is it people outside of your community doing this? So let's check this out.
Struggles and the movements that seek a world of justice, equality, and peace, that seek to dismantle the United States. I hope you seek to dismantle the United States. And if that isn't your politics, okay? I speak as if everybody has this commitment. And the thing is that you should listen to Indigenous people when they're telling you that this is the goal. And that not only is this the goal, but this is the starting point. Because I think Nick articulated this very clearly. Decolonization is the only thing that is going to save us as a species, is the only thing that's going to save us as a planet. And everyone should just be on board with it, no questions asked. And I say this sometimes on the podcast, our Red Nation podcast, and the co-host of Red Power Hour. Of the most oppressed ass people in Turtle Island, Indigenous women are on the top of that fucking list, okay? And incarcerated at higher numbers, murdered at higher numbers, missing at higher numbers, higher levels of rape and all kinds of sexual violence and sexual harassment. I mean, Indigenous women struggle so hard under the settler regime that is.
Now, I find this interesting because I'm like, okay, who else lives in your community? If it's a specific area for your community. So your community is this is the part I don't understand. You're in a tribal area. I didn't think anybody else could live in there. So you're saying you're the most oppressed and it's on your land. Like, what's going on with your people then? And you're talking about, we need to go against the colonizers. Okay. Well, if y'all haven't even fixed it in your land, what are you really calling for? It's complete anarchy? This is the part that's strange to me, but let's continue.
The United States and the way that heteropatriarchy ties so closely into that. And if an Indigenous woman is telling you that decolonization is the solution, and also that there is real hope and that Palestine offers us, we said this in the speech, Palestine is the alternative path for Native nations. And this is because we understand Palestine and the liberation of Palestine is the tip of the spear, right? It is a righteous struggle, and it is so powerful that it has literally, in 60 days, changed the entire world. The entire world has changed. I knew it the moment that it happened, that nothing, and I mean nothing, for colonizers or for any of the good, humble people of the earth would be the same ever again. And we need to lean into that. Lean into the fact that colonizers are scared. Lean in to scaring them and making them feel uncomfortable, right? It is because we have power.
Wow. Okay. In my opinion, is spoken like a true leader of a cult. Because it's like, if you don't think this way, no. Like I said, how did Palestine come into your conversation? And we're talking about the United States. Again, this is ideology. This has nothing to do with governance. You want complete anarchy, not governance. You don't want people to actually be afforded any goodness in life. You want complete anarchy. I feel bad for the people of Palestine, but they do not have a solidified government. As far as I know, I'm not really into that conversation, so I'll say allegedly. Maybe they do, maybe they don't. Let me know in the comments if you guys have any more information on what's going on with Palestine. I know that there There are people there that are suffering, right? They're not a part of the government structure. I don't think they should be bombed into oblivion, right? Nobody should be. You know, I don't like everything that Israel's government's doing, and I'm definitely praying for the people of Israel that they are okay. Because we still forget that their government called all of them to be inoculated during the pandemic. And if they weren't, they suffered consequences. Oh, yeah, that happened. But now Israel's like, hey, United States, you need to support us, especially the Christians, because we're Israel. No, it doesn't work like that. You're not even a Christian country. Christians make up less than 5% of your country. But we're all supposed to just cape for you because you're Israel? Stop that. Now, that has to do with the government. And I don't like it that they are making that into a conversation of theocracy, because we are not a theocracy. We are a republic here in the United States. So what are we doing? Yeah, there's a lot of questions on that. I'm just saying. So just to cover a little bit about what she was talking about, because it kind of, like I said, it threw me off, because I'm like, Indians have gotten their, I won't call it reparations, but they've been restored on this land. You know what I'm saying? The United States was like, yeah, we did y'all wrong. So we are going to give the indigenous tribes of this country, we're going to make sure there's a Bureau of Indian Affairs, which does exist. We are going to ensure and make sure that you have repair, right? So the video features this professor, Milani Yazi, and she's an indigenous activist. She was speaking at a panel discussion. She advocates for decolonization and dismantling the United States as a settler regime, emphasizing ongoing harms to Native Americans, such as higher rates of incarceration, murder, disappearance, rapes, and sexual violence, particularly against indigenous women. Again, who's living in your community? Is it just you, or is it other people? That's the part that you're not answering. So she links this to a broader liberation struggle, including Palestine, and calls for making colonizers uncomfortable. However, the video does not mention or outline the specific benefits or reparations provided by the United States for historical wrongs against Native Americans. Instead, her rhetoric implies that existing measures are insufficient or non existent, justifying radical action. Okay, so I just wanted an outline of what's going on. So, monetary compensations, these include payouts from claims, commissions, lawsuits, and acts addressing land loss or mismanagement. The historical awards exceed several $billions, though per capita amounts have often been modest, less than 1,000 per person in some cases, but they are still getting paid from the United States government that she wants to dismantle. Let's go on. So, Indian Claims Commission, 1946 to 78, it established to address grievances over seized land and broken treaties awarded to 176 tribes, bands based on historical research. Funds were distributed to groups or individuals, often for tribal projects. Now, the amount and the impact, it was 1.3 billion total, equivalent to 10 to 15 billion today, adjusted for inflation. So they get an adjustment within this repair. Okay. Critics note tribes had limited control and it didn't restore sovereignty fully. Okay, but there's still something there. So if they want to fight for more, but according to her, she wants to dismantle the United States government. So what are we doing? So you dismantle government, you're not getting anything. Nothing. Nothing, ma'am. Let's continue. Now, Alaska Native Claims Settlement Act of 1971. This settled original land claims in Alaska, created native corporations, and provided cash plus land. 963 million plus 44 million acres of land to 80,000 Alaskan natives led to economic development, but also corporate exploitation issues. Now, the Navajo Hopi Rehabilitation Act of 1950 funded infrastructure, education, and economic development for Navajo and Hopi tribe after land disputes and relocations. They got 88.5 million over 10 years, supported soil conservation businesses, and off reservation employment. So they got employment on and off of their reservations. Now there's the trust fund mismanagement settlements of 2016. So resolved lawsuits over federal mismanagement of tribal resources, royalties from mining and grazing. Okay. So they were awarded 492 million to 17 tribes, part broader 3.4 billion in the Obama era settlements for 100 tribes. And again, she wants to get rid of the colonizer. She wants to dismantle the United States. Okay, but y'all getting paid. I'm just saying, I don't understand your argument. What's going on? Pueblo Land Acts, okay, compensated Pueblo tribes for lost lands due to non-native encroachments, and that was in 1924. They got 1.3 million plus land title adjudications disputed as undervaluing losses. And then there's the Zuni tribe settlement as of 1990 for land loss and damages from erosion, mineral extraction. They got 25 million for lost land, plus 25 million for damages, plus 25,000 acres returned, and a trust for sustainable development. So you have an office, Bureau of Land Management, you've gotten restoration, and if you want some more, I guess you can get it because you've gotten it. Okay, I guess you can still go for more, but you want to dismantle the United States. That, I'm not saying that they were perfect, but I am saying that they are trying to restore you. What's your issue? And who's committing all these crimes against these indigenous women? Who's living on your land? And if it's your own people, then y'all need to have a meeting. This has nothing to do with us. Nothing to do with us. This is your people. You need to have a meeting. Y'all need to get together, have a Zoom call, do what you need to do, but don't try to destroy the rest of us for your ideology and your cult mentality. Because for you to sit there and act like, well, if you don't believe this, really, ma'am, y'all have a whole office in the Department of the Interior. Stop it. Stop that. Okay, I'll make sure to link this in the repost to give you more of what they're doing. But they've got land returns, sovereignty recognition. Stop. I don't know what your argument is. I, I don't know what you're upset about, but it sounds like there's an issue in your house that you need to deal with. And it has nothing to do with the American people because y'all got paid. Don't want to hear it. You've got land. And again, if there are injustices that you still feel that you're entitled to, apparently y'all know how to get this done because you've got stuff on the books getting it done. So hey, continue. I'm just saying. It's awkward. Now, the next article we're going to get into, you guys may or may not have heard about this occurring. I just found out about it yesterday. But apparently there was a situation with ICE in Minnesota and a young woman apparently accusing ICE of abusing her. I'll just say that. She accuses them of hurting her, throwing her on the ground. Remember, I said throwing her on the ground. But apparently she spit on one of the agents. Apparently she was born here in the United States. She is of Somali descent, so maybe her parents were refugees that came here and all that. And there's some laws that other people need to know that may not be from this country. You can't spit on other people. Okay, that's a federal crime. It is a crime. It is a federal offense. I just need people to know that. Just need you to wrap your head around all that. You can't spit on people. Okay, it's illegal here. in this country. I know maybe in your country, y'all can do all kinds of stuff. And apparently she's never been to Somalia. So I don't know where this disrespect comes from. But apparently you need to teach your people how to be more respectful, especially if they are claiming to be American citizens. Okay. Just saying. I'm just saying. Because I find it fascinating for people to be like, I was born here and you are so disrespectful as an American. Like, get it together. Get it together. But let's check this video out. Okay. That's what we spit on him. Now, everybody's standing. This is her right here, apparently. Or somewhere in this crowd. Do you guys see anybody on the ground? Anybody need to be picked up from the ground? I'm just saying. Still not on the ground. She's still walking. She's still on your feet. On her feet. On her feet. On her feet. Okay. All right. On her feet. The entire time. And this is the video that they're showing on X, because her claim is that they threw her on the ground and all this other stuff. Did you guys see anybody on the ground? I did see somebody get spit on because they kind of recoiled back, like, what? What's going on? Yeah, you're getting arrested if you spit on anybody, especially a federal officer. Like, that's happening. But apparently she's going to the store, and she was going to pick up her seizure medication, and I guess the ICE agents were dealing with two other individuals, and she's saying she just got somehow caught up. No, it looks more like you were messing with the ICE officers because you spit on somebody. Like, what is wrong with people? It's interesting. Okay. So apparently this 23-year-old of Somali descent, she was born in Hennepin County, Minnesota, and raised in St. Paul. She has no criminal record. Okay. And she lives in an apartment complex. I'm not going to say all of this because it's already in there. She is described as 5'4", 112 pounds. She lives with her father named Muhammad Ahmed. On the 14th of January around 11 a.m., Ahmed was leaving her apartment complex to pick up her medication at the pharmacy when ICE agents who were targeting two Somali men in the area whom she did not know intervened. Okay, so it's interesting because the way it's written here in Grok, it's kind of like, I know they're pulling this from a story and they're trying to summarize it. So it's like, was she intervening with these other two individuals that she didn't know, apparently? But she did insert herself in a situation where she shouldn't have been, because why are you even near the ICE agents? If it's nowhere near your car, like, why are you even in the proximity of them if you're supposedly going to the pharmacy? That doesn't look like they're in the way of the pharmacy. There's no pharmacy there. It's a parking lot. So what are you doing? And why are you there? And I really hope we get some cell phone footage um of a more up close and personal situation, so we can get some audio visual of what's going on, because she's claiming that they abused her and all these other things. I didn't see anybody push her on the ground, but she did spit on somebody. Okay. And according to her accounts, they surrounded her, shoved her to the ground, pinned her down with knees and elbows. Anybody see that? Handcuffed her and used significant force, including one agent allegedly using the N-word as a racial slur, which is weird. Okay. Neighbors filmed the incident, showing more than a dozen masked agents forcing her into a vehicle. Now that we did see, but it only took like maybe 3 of them to get her in the car. She's 112 pounds. Like, She ain't fighting nobody. So Ahmed reported screaming and crying as it was her first arrest. She was placed in the vehicle with another woman described as Native American and injured, where they held each other in fear. I don't know how you're holding each other in fear because you were locked up in handcuffs. So I'm not sure how that's happening. Like, none of this makes sense. You saw the video. The video is not even lining up with what this says, because apparently she was on the ground. Did you see anybody on the ground? She's 112 pounds. Nobody needs to wrestle you to the ground for nothing. These men probably bench press 150. Okay. You're 112 pounds. Stop that. Stop. Okay. So we're gonna continue to go down. So these are the images. This is the scar that she's claiming she received from the ICE agents that wrestled her to the ground. Her scab. Okay. She kept talking about her scab in the video. So I asked by video footage. Yes, there's video footage. That's how I found the video footage. I did. And then I asked another question. It says, does she have any connection to Ilhan Omar? She does not. Okay, I'm just checking, right? Does she have any connections to anybody? Right. So she doesn't have any connections to Ilhan Omar. I said, what is she being accused of? Why was she arrested? Okay. So she was not formally accused of any crime and she was released without any charges. Okay, because she's a US citizen. But later on, she may get charged for spitting on somebody if they decide to, in my opinion, further prosecute. So I did ask, was she accused of spitting on agents? Yes. There are public claims and circulating video clips alleging that Nasra Ahmad spat or appeared to spit on one or more ICE agents during the incident. Okay. This has become a point of contention online, particularly on X, but it has not been formally confirmed as an accusation by ICE or DHS in any official statement. So no charges were ever filed against her for assaulting, spitting, or on any related offense. So it's allegedly that, it's alleged that she did it, but it hasn't necessarily been confirmed. So we'll wait. We'll wait to see what's going to happen with this case. And I said, is she affiliated with any organizations? I wanted to find out, is she with, maybe the NAACP, ACLU? Is she working with anybody like the unfortunate mother who lost her life, Renee Good? She was affiliated with, some different associations. We didn't know till afterwards. So apparently, no, there's no evidence that Nasra is affiliated with any organizations, activist groups, or advocacy networks. Okay, so I just wanted to check and make sure, because sometimes when people are acting in those ways, they're doing it because they know that they have the backing of other groups. Now, for broader context, Minnesota includes organized resistance of ICE operations, like groups like COPOL, ACLU Minnesota, IAD, Leeds, Immigrant Defense Network affiliates, or Neighborhood Watch efforts. Okay. So coverage frames her incident as an example of alleged racial profiling during Operation Metro Surge, sparking community outrage in Somali areas, but she is portrayed as a private citizen victim rather than an activist or member of any group. Here's my thing. How did you get to where, from your front door to where the ICE agents were, if you were on your way to get your medication? Why are you even over there? What is your motivation for even being over there if you're supposed to be doing something else? And you have seizures, apparently, allegedly. I'm saying you're not well. Praying for that, right? That you get better, that you are, that you are healed from that. But why are you there? Like, why are you putting yourself in harm's way? There's no reason for you to be over there with any ICE agents if you're supposed to be picking up your medication. And those are the questions that we need to find out. Like, that's what we need to figure out. Like, why are you even over there? Ma'am, these individuals doing some of these things, I'm telling y'all, it's interesting. But again, happy Friday to everybody. And Rob says she's probably spit after they had accosted her. Let's find out the sequence of it. Yes, it does look like she is swarmed by the agent. Yeah, I mean, and it's weird. Like I said, I get it that they all kind of come around her, but why are you even there? If you are going to pick up medication from the pharmacy, that's not the pharmacy. From the vantage point of the person taking the video, it's a very large parking lot. Why are you over there? Where, you know what I'm saying? Like, you could have walked around it. You could have took, another sidewalk. Hey, even if you wanted to record what was happening at a distance just to document, hey, this is happening, to two other people that are of Somali descent in the area. You could have did that, ma'am. But no, why are you there in their midst? Because they're not going to look for you. They're in the middle of the parking lot. It's that part. It's that part we want to make. We are gonna hopefully find out one day soon. We'll see. Hopefully, there are closer up recordings with some audio visual. You know how things happen over the weekend. So we'll see. Now, this next video I'm going to play, this was interesting. Apparently, someone of Somali descent, they were arrested and they were pleading to get deported as opposed to sentenced.
Committing fraud on a massive scale and using daycares as your cover-up, this court sentences you to 30 years in state prison.
Can you just deport me, please?
Absolutely not. You'll do your full sentence here and will be deported afterwards.
Okay. So judge shut that down. He was like, no. Nope. Not getting out of incarceration. Because deporting somebody, they're still free. You know what I'm saying? Without any sentencing. But at the same time, I'm like, we paying our taxes for this nonsense. Can we just send them to El Salvador? I'm okay with that. He can serve a sentence there. And then he can get deported. So, yeah. You don't necessarily have to be in jail here. Because we do outsource to El Salvador. And I am totally okay with that. Maybe that might stop people from doing anything. It's like, yeah, you go to jail, you're going to go to El Salvador and be in prison. I think people they might think twice about crime. Maybe. I don't know. We'll see. Because we want people to be rehabilitated, obviously. But I don't know, when you get into that kind of crime and you're used to deceiving people in that way, I'm not sure what your rehabilitation looks like so that you are a functioning member of society again, where you're not going to commit those types of crimes again because it was so easy for you to do it in the first place. So we'll have to see really how that plays out. Let me get back to my notes because sometimes I just get ahead of myself a little bit. I wanted to go over, I got about 2 more videos about some more of this fraud, and then we're going to take a quick break and reset. But here's some more fraud that's been going on.
That's my property, all of it. You can't just open it like that.
We followed procedure. The bag flagged on screening. We
No,
need to
the
document the
bag
contents.
is cash for my family. Do you hear me? I send it home. You touch it, you will be arrested.
I know my rights.
Please
keep your hands clear. We're recording.
Okay, apparently this is about $800,000 that she just thinks that she can just go through the airport with. Actually, you cannot do that. But see, people have been allowing them to get away with it for so long and no one stopped them that's why she's fussing. She's fussing because they've been doing this. But now that everybody's like, they're really doing this? Yes, they're really doing this. They've been doing this for, maybe close to over a decade, getting away with it, by the way. And now everybody's on it like, wow, okay, well, maybe we should stop them. Yes, I even have another video of it, and I'll just attach that as a bonus video. But this is going on, and it's sad. It's like, no. Anything over was like $10,000. You can't travel with over $10,000. It's questioned. And you're taking that money to Somalia. You're taking it out of the country. This is my property. Man, this is U.S. currency. No, absolutely not. And I don't know what's happened with this individual, but I hope that she is arrested and deported. That's just, look, we need some law and order up and around in here. I'm just saying. Here's our next video on it.
There are Somali couriers who come to the airport almost daily with $1,600,000 in cash and a luggage. That sounds a little suspicious, right? It was going on daily, and they were moving about $350 million a year in cash in their luggage out of Minneapolis airport, and then traditionally or predominantly overseas. One of the routes that when TSA saw the money go, it would go from Minneapolis to Europe to Dubai, often through Amsterdam. It was flagged for years. TSA was flagging these payments for years. They grew from $20-30 million a year to $350 million a year the last 2 years, 2024 and 2025. It was literally a foreign ATM taking cash out of the United States to foreign destinations, and we don't know the reason why. But that is now under investigation by the FBI and HSI. And people say, well, is this normal?
No, it's not. It isn't normal, but it was normalized, right? Because it has been allowed. And we need to find out who was allowing it, why they were allowing it, because TSA has been in place, since 9/11, right? Since the early 2000s. So they were tracking it, they were flagging it, but there weren't any consequences. Now that there are consequences, like I said, I can understand why this woman is fussing, because they've been doing it for so long. It's like, why are you stopping me now? I've been doing this. Yeah. So it's going to be a lot that needs to be dialed back, right? There's going to be a lot that needs to be reorganized, because no, we're not going to let you just take $800,000 out of the United States to ship it to wherever, and we don't know whose hands the money's going to be in. No, not going to be a thing. Not going to be a thing. So with that, let's take a quick break, and when we return, we're going to get into some more of this news going on in Minnesota.